I'll go first then. So my team, like what you've already said, playing the wild card. So two goalkeepers, Donnarumma and Jordan Pickford. For my defenders, quite a lot of premiums. Again, that really ruined my team last round. So let's hope it doesn't happen again. I went Jordi Alba, Spinazzola, Luke Shaw, Joaquin Mele, who should be probably the most premium out of all of these, and then Harry Maguire, just as it is a little bit more of a differential to John Stones.
Are you not concerned that is Maguire not one booking away from a suspension though? So he might not play. He might play.
Good question.
Depends on how Gareth feels about it, but I think they get wiped after this game.
Yeah, I believe so. I'll have to look into that.
Declan Rice, Calvin Phillips, Harry Maguire, one other player, I can't think of who, are all one booking away as far as I'm aware. Just
cool. I mean, I'm 0.1 out from getting John Stones, so there's probably other players I can move around to be able to afford that. So midfielders, Sarabia, Shaqiri, Chiesa, Højbjerg, and Raheem Sterling. I'm not set on that. To be honest, my draft I did before this, probably happier with.
Okay.
But just trying to fit in, like just trying not to fall into the trap of doubling up on everyone. And you'll see with my forwards, Harry Kane, Lukaku, Morata. So I have Lukaku in currently because I realized that in my last draft I had Immobile in there, which meant that I had absolutely no Belgian players at all. Yeah. And that game could go either way. Obviously, I don't have the 5 transfers. It's a little bit more lenient, but it would be hard having to spend 4 of them 5 to get my Italian players out if Belgium went through. But if I see Italy going through anyways, like, I don't know. So I think just over the course of this last pod, like after what we've been talking about, I'd probably go back to Immobile. Then I can obviously upgrade John Stones, 2 John Stones, and I can even upgrade Shaqiri up to someone else, maybe like a Torres, or even if I want a Belgian player, I think it's only Hazard or someone like that worth getting. I don't know, if Hazard's injured, maybe Carrasco's back in, but he's not been great.
Yeah.
Anyways, Lukaku, Morata, Harry Kane. So I kind of went all in on England because if England get knocked out now, that would be a huge upset because in terms of quality of their team, that I don't see it happening. I think they'll get to the final. And I did the same last year in the Champions League with Man City, where I saw their route to the final. And so I just started planning for who's probably going to play. And in terms of the players that I've got, other than Maguire, I think all of them will start in the final. So just get them in now.
Yeah.
That's my team, but check Twitter because it'll probably change.
Yeah. So that's the thing. We've got to look at a couple of things here. Number one, you've got to look at the route to the final. Who do you think is actually going to get to the final and plow into that lot? Secondly, there is a mathematical way of being as safe as possible. And that is going through the fixtures and working out best case scenario and worst case scenario. And obviously it's really easy. If you have 4 Italians and 1 Belgian, for example, you know that the worst case scenario is you're going to lose 4 players and keep 1. Really, really easy to do. So what you'd want is the best worst case scenario, if you like, is to have 5 players, like for your worst case scenario, that are let's say like your best case scenario are going to go out basically, because you get 5 transfers to sort everything out. So what you can do is field 10 players, which is enough for the semis. and if you want to take a -4, then you can. So that is one way of doing it. For me, I just went for my route to the final and keep my fingers crossed, because I think a lot of people will have these players anyway and will target these players. So that being said, run for the same keepers, Donnarumma and Pickford, by proxy of, I think, on match day 1, Donnarumma's the best keeper, and on match day 2, I think Pickford's the best keeper. That simple, really. They were my first 2 picks out of everyone. Defense, I am keeping with the CPR hero that is Simon Chair. Against Czech Republic, anything can happen. The Czechs have been really good. Schick's been in form. For me, he'd be in my team of the tournament so far as one of the forwards comfortably. I think he's been absolutely phenomenal. He scored arguably the best goal, although Benzema may have taken his crown. Depends on what sort of goal you like. And I've doubled up, obviously, with Jakub Miller. Jakub Miller is the first defender on 4.7. Crazy not to have him against Czech Republic, because I think he's going to give Soufal a torrid time. That being said, though, I think Soufal might be able to get at him the other way. So should be a really fun game to watch, at least. But I don't have any Czech players. I've just went for those 2, and we'll see what happens. The rest of my defenders, I've gone for John Stones. I think he's nailed. He's not on a yellow card. Most likely to score from a set piece. And I've gone for Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw is debatable still at the minute, but I think he's going to play, and he was great in the last game, and I do think we'll keep a clean sheet. So, and then Spinazzola. I think he's the best left back currently in the game as far as the game goes. He plays left wing, plays match day 1. I want as many match day 1 players as I can get, really. So yeah, no brainer, Spinazzola. Midfield, I've gone for, it's controversial. So I've gone for Sarabia and Torres. We'll see if they get a game or not. If they both start, they're both in, because I think they both got the same ceiling, probably a goal and an assist each, 2 assists each, something like that. And even though I've said I think Switzerland will, I think this could be another Croatia game where it could be 5-3. I've gone for Chiesa to manipulate that right-hand side, Belgium's left. I've gone for Raheem Sterling because he's in such good form. It's time to stop betting against him. He's been England's best player. Get him in. And I'm going to say my last midfielder with my first striker, and I've gone for Zuba with Seferovic. And I mentioned it earlier, Seferovic give France a torrid time in the air. You give them a torrid time on the ground. Spain have looked a bit dodgy. And Zuba's the one getting the assists. He's whipping those balls in, and he plays on the first day. So I really like having that punt, because I've got 2 from Spain, 2 from Switzerland. I know 2 of them are going through and 2 of them are going out. And with 5 transfers, I don't mind that at all. My last 2 players, very suspect, these 2. I don't know if they'll stay. I've got Immobile, which puts me at 4 Italy, which petrifies the life out of me. Immobile may change to Patrick Schick. The reason I don't quite want Schick is because he's playing the second day, and I've got 2 Danish defenders, so I'm betting against myself. Mm-hmm. Or I could go to Dolberg and triple up on Denmark, which is a risk in itself. I just don't know what to do there. And I've got Lukaku, like you say. I need a Belgian player in case they go through. It's absolutely crazy not to have a Belgian player. One thing that we looked at before was Lukaku's record against Juventus, really, because Bonucci and Chiellini is expected to be back. So they're Juventus' centre-backs. And Lukaku has 1 goal in the 4 games this season, and it was a penalty. So he's not done great against them. Done great against the rest of Italy's defenders in Serie A. I think you told me earlier I was 2nd top goal scorer for the pod. So I don't know. Lukaku really depends on Kevin De Bruyne as well. I think if he's in, but we just don't know if he's not. I'm kind of edging my bets there. And again, I've got Lukaku against a double Italy defense. But the thing is, I can take out whoever blanks. Mm-hmm. So it's not the same. I really wouldn't mind the Denmark-Czech Republic game being on the first day. That would have been ideal, because I could have bet against them as well and been a lot more comfortable. So that's what it is at the minute. But I'm not dead set on it. Just looking at my best and worst. Best case scenario, I have 12 players going through and only 3 out. Worst case scenario is obviously the reverse of that. I've got 12 players going out and 3 staying in, which means I would, without hits, be able to field a starting 8. But with that, I just need Italy or England to get through.
Mhm.
And if that happens, then I think I'd be sound if one of those teams get through. And at this point, it might be worth putting your eggs in one basket. It's so hard to predict.